What is up, everybody? It's your boy. Happy Tuesday. Breaking news. I'm sure you've all heard by now, but I'm going to say breaking news anyway because it sounds more exciting. And the news is exciting, at least to me. See how happy I am? That's how I look when I'm happy. Notre Dame and Clemson have come to an agreement that they will play each other 12 years consecutively. I'm assuming this means 6 games in Death Valley, 6 games in South Bend, rotating back and forth. Look, this is great news to me. The first thing you have to ask yourself is why? Why would Clemson want to do this? Well, it's easy, the reason why. Money. That's right. Not only, when they come to Clemson, does that draw a big physical crowd, a sold-out game with, a lot of people spending a lot of money on campus in Clemson and in the stadium and whatnot. But also, I'm tripping over the cat. Also, based on the new rev share deal that the ACC's got going on, the whole thing where the higher your TV ratings are, the more money you get from the conference. That's being one of the highest viewed games every year for 12 years, most years. This is going under the assumption, and I think it's a pretty good assumption, that both of these teams are going to be playoff relevant teams almost every year for the next 12 years. There may be an outlying year here or there, rebuild year or whatever you want to call it, where one of these teams is not a playoff caliber team. But just in general, I'm pretty confident that Clemson's going to be there in the conversation, ranked wins. And the same thing for Notre Dame. The way that Notre Dame is recruiting right now, the way that Marcus Freeman's recruiting right now, I don't see them going anywhere as far as national relevance anytime in the next 10 years. So, unless something catastrophic happens, both these teams are going to be in the limelight, or at least in the conversation of the limelight. So this is great news for both teams. Here's one thing that I don't know, though, whether it's a good thing or not. Well, it's a personal opinion whether it's good or not. But every year, Clemson has done a great job under Dabo Swinney of out-of-conference scheduling big boys, almost always in the SEC. Now, there have been some regular season games against Notre Dame here and there, but mostly it's, Georgia, LSU's coming up this year, Auburn. Like, they've played a bunch of SEC teams, and not just like lower tier, not like Vanderbilt type teams, but, upper half of the SEC teams. So is that going to stop now, starting in 2027? Because Clemson's still going to play their 2 cupcakes, and they've already got South Carolina every year out of conference. If you add Notre Dame into that, that's not technically a conference game. So there's your 4 non-cons. That doesn't leave room for the LSUs and the Georgias of the world for 12 years straight. Now, we'll probably see Clemson play some of these SEC teams in playoff situations now that we have a 12-team playoff. So I'm just talking about regular season, though. So I don't know how I feel about that. I like playing the SEC for obvious reasons. I'm a Clemson fan in the South. I'm in SEC country. So, of course, I like to see Clemson play as many SEC teams as possible. However, like I said, that will probably happen in a playoff situation anyway, so I don't feel like I'm losing that much of a chance for us to play other SEC teams outside of South Carolina every year. And also, I think this is the beginning of what's going to be a beautiful rivalry between Clemson and Notre Dame. Also, it will give me a chance to redeem myself from 2020. You remember 2020, what happened? I'm sure you guys remember what happened in 2020. Yeah, the whole world shut down. The whole world shut down, and in doing that, I had bought tickets. Actually, shout out to my father-in-law. My father-in-law bought my wife and I tickets to the game that was in South Bend, but of course, they canceled the tickets on us because, because of what was going on around the world. So that was extremely disappointing. that I got to miss going to South Bend and meeting some of my buddies out there who are Notre Dame fans. Shout out to John, always Irish. But this, now that they're going to be playing there, it looks like every other year, there's no reason I can't take my happy butt up to South Bend and see what that place is all about. You know what I mean? So shout out to Notre Dame, shout out to Clemson for doing something very cool and solidifying a big boy matchup every year in college football. See you.